What is up, guys? I haven't posted in an absolute minute, especially on long form. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've posted a lot on there the last couple months, but really nothing on YouTube. And I took like a year off because I was honestly lost in life. I didn't know what I wanted to post anymore. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. But I kind of found a resurgence in helping people, fitness coaching, helping people change their lives. Because fitness itself changed my life. It really was there for me in a hard time, and without fitness, I don't know where I would be today. So I wanted to share this video, my first video back in a minute, of kind of just my story. And if you've watched me before, this is going to be a completely different video than what you're used to, because I'm usually like a fake guy playing a character. But now this is my authentic self. I'm being real because I think my story can really help a lot of people and help people in a tough time change their lives for the better. So if you're into that, the authenticity, stick around. If not, I understand. Stick around if I post another skit or something like that. I don't even know if I will. But how fitness changed my life. And if any prehistoric birds or lawnmowers or anything like that go off, I'm in Florida, it's wild here. If an alligator comes and eats me, I'll still try to post it because that'd be sick. So, how fitness changed my life. I didn't really start working out until maybe I worked out like twice in high school, once. So I'm not even gonna count that. I didn't really start working out until college. And in college, I used to play sports in high school, didn't play sports in college, and I needed to fill that void, so I started lifting. And lifting was kind of like that outlet for me to not just go to class and go home. I was able to do something else. I did it, I took it seriously, but not really that seriously. Right? I was in college, I did like a bro split, chest day, back day, shoulder day, leg day, that shit. And I went pretty consistently. I did like the gym, but I didn't eat right at all. I didn't eat enough protein. Not even close, probably. I didn't eat the right foods. I was eating like shit. I was drinking on the weekends, smoking weed almost every day in college, especially like freshman year. Really, I was a pothead. I'm not gonna lie. In college, I was an absolute pothead. But I drank a lot, went out a lot, didn't eat the right foods. Still relatively consistent with the workouts. And so 4 years of college, that's kind of how I lived my life. And I didn't have like I have a terrible physique. I wasn't fat, but I didn't look how I wanted to look. I didn't look good. I looked like a blob, in my opinion. I'll pop it up. That's how I looked 4 years of lifting in college, but eating like shit. And my last year of college, senior year, was COVID. I graduated 2020. So the whole second semester, there was no in-person classes. It was all online. So I stayed home, smoked way more weed. I started go puffing candy and donuts and eating all this junk. Go puffing is like DoorDash in Philly. And I started eating way more junk food because I was way more high all the time. Going over to my friend's house like almost every night, drinking, playing beer games, stuff like that. That second semester of college, I probably gained 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Like I kind of blew up a little bit. And that's what this picture is right here. I'm either going to put the same picture or a different picture. But that's really where, that was like peak fat me, or out of shape me. And then I eventually graduated college. I mean, I was living that lifestyle. I started living that undisciplined, playing video games all day, eating like shit, not working out anymore. I forgot to mention because the gyms were closed because it's COVID. I was going to start doing push-ups every day, but I think I did it the first day, and then never again. So I stopped working out, started eating like shit, blew up. Eventually graduated college and went back home. And when I went back home, I didn't have a job off the rip. I was door dashing. And when I was door dashing, I still wasn't really going to the gym that consistently. One, because it was closed a lot of the times for COVID. My hometown gym was like open and closed. They were like trying to fight it, but it was hard for them. So like when they were open, I would go. When they were closed, I wouldn't go. Not that I probably ate better at home, but also I still wasn't eating good. Like my mom would make great food, but it wasn't always healthy. We had a lot of snacks, Oreos, cookies, shit like that. So I still was basically living a similar life, smoking weed. My mom eventually found my Jeep in the shed. So instead of stopping smoking weed, I actually started hitting a dab pen to hide it. But I was still kind of a bum. And then I was looking for a job. I needed a job. I was just kind of like lost in life. Graduated college, classic like first step into the real world. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Was lost. Didn't have any discipline. Didn't have any purpose. No drive. Nothing. Just kind of going through the motions, right? And then something really traumatic happened in my life. Something that it was probably the biggest event in my life because of how much it changed it and how big it was to not just me but my whole family. Because during the time I was in college, my dad was not being good to my mom, right? He started to become an alcoholic. He started to like lose his mind a little bit. He started, just saying like she was cheating on him and calling her all these kind of names and everything and just not being nice to my mom. And my mom would tell me about this in college. Like she would call me on the phone and tell me about it. I didn't really realize how bad it was though until I got home. Until I got home and I got to experience it for myself, what was really going on. Because, I probably got home in like June from college after I graduated, and there was a day in August where, he was just being very mean. He was drunk, yelling at my mom, calling her names, and I'm the oldest of four. I'm the oldest, so I have 3 siblings, and my youngest sibling was 15. It was just me and him home at the time, and he was crying because my dad was just not saying good words to my mom. And obviously, as the oldest child, I had to step up. I had to step up for my mom, for my family, everyone. So I started, yelling at him and saying, what are you doing? We started going back and forth. He threw something at me. I threw something at him. We started getting physical, tackling each other. Then it led to punching. And so it was a full-on fist fight with my dad. And this is someone I loved. This is someone that was with me my whole life, and I did love him. But it was just something like, it was just a tough situation where I had to stick up for my mom, and one thing led to another, and I was very fed up with how he was acting. And so we got in a fist fight. He was drunk the whole time. My little brother was crying, my mom was crying, everyone was freaking out. Eventually we stopped fighting. He tried to drive away. We took the keys, and he was freaking out, had to call the cops. Cops came, took my dad away. And that was kind of the end of that. And the next day he came back home, came up to where I was sleeping and put his hand on my leg and just said, sorry. That's all he said, was sorry. Not for what, nothing more than sorry. And you could tell he's a very narcissistic, ego-driven guy. He didn't think he did anything wrong. And that really, not only the whole situation, but him just not even like caring enough to like give me an actual apology was just completely shattered me on the inside. I'm not gonna lie. I cried after you fought, obviously, because it's like when you fight someone you love, or like you physically hurt or harm someone you love, it's not easy. So after that, he tried, not that he even tried, but like he basically just went to live with his parents, and he would try to reach out and text me, but it wasn't genuine. He wasn't authentic. He didn't really care. Basically just walked out of my family's lives, and I haven't talked to him in 5 years. This is 2025. This happened in like 2021, 2020. Haven't talked to him in 4 or 5 years. But at that point, when he did walk out of my life and my family's lives, as the oldest of 4, and now like the man of the house, I had to step into that father figure role, the role model role. And I looked in the mirror, and me smoking weed, not eating healthy, not being consistent in my workouts, being a bum, looking like a bum, was not cutting it for this role model that I needed to be, or that my family deserved. So that's really the catalyst that made me change, and that drove me to start being disciplined. I got a program, and if you guys know Grego Gallagher, I got one of his programs. I followed him for a long time. Got his program, started counting my calories, tracking protein, going to the gym consistently. Even when it was closed, I would just work out from home. And I started progressively overloading, taking it very seriously, getting disciplined. And in 10 months, I went from looking like I did that last picture to this in 10 months. And that not only helped my physique and helped me look better, have more confidence, but it also inspired my family. It changed them, because I remember when I first started this journey, my mom would still make dinner for the whole family. I would make my own dinner though. I would make it separate because I had to count it. I had to make sure I was eating the right foods, and they would all look at me weird. But after they saw my discipline and my transformation, they started to count their calories and track their protein and go to the gym consistently. And it's like I changed the whole family dynamic, and now we all, to this day, are still active, fit, counting calories, macros, like it's awesome. Especially my youngest brother, who was 15 at the time. He's 20 now, and he's just as jacked as me. I'm 27. It's wild. I'm so proud of him. So proud of my whole family. But discipline is what really kind of set me apart. And not only with the physique, but all of a sudden I built a lot of momentum in my life. I started to feel better, walk differently. I quit my current 9-to-5 that I was working, because I did get a job right after that situation. I forgot to mention, I did get a job when I started taking the gym seriously. I actually got a job, worked that for a while. Then all of a sudden I quit that job, moved across the country to Arizona with my best friend. We drove there. And that's when I started posting on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I grew over around 200,000 subscribers, 150,000 subscribers in like a year, and kept going. And that all wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm saying this, just obviously the catalyst of everything that happened with my dad, but being able to be disciplined with fitness and go to the gym and work out and eat healthy and be healthy created so much momentum in my life that it just completely changed. It went from being a bum with no purpose to loving my life, loving every single day, waking up with excitement, with joy, with pleasure, with purpose. Because not only was I doing it for myself, but I was doing it for my family. I was being that role model that I knew I needed to be. And I mean, at that point I had two choices, right? I could have been a bum. I could have went deeper into a depression and not been there for my family and just kind of wallowed away with them. Or I could have been that rock, the role model that stood up and really carried them through that hard time. And I'm so glad I picked the harder choice at the time, because that really changed the course of my life and my family's lives. But the whole point of this video is to say how fitness really did change my life, because without fitness, I don't know if I would have had that vice to go into to really distract me and better myself from that situation. And just taking my fitness seriously, all areas of my life, my relationships, my job, my income, everything changed, because I got disciplined in one area of my life, and that spread to all areas. And so, if you're lost, even if you feel lost in life, or feel similar to how I felt going through the motions, just graduated college, or even if you're in your 30s, 40s, working the same job for a long time, not happy with where you're at, dude, start with fitness. Start going to the gym, eating healthy, getting your physique in a good shape. Because once you do that, once you start taking one part of your life seriously, the rest just kind of starts happening on its own, because you're disciplined. Once you're disciplined in one area of your life, it's like your brain just starts to be disciplined everywhere, and you start to notice the changes. And it might happen slow at first, but it all compounds to more and more discipline and more freedom, because you have the discipline, and more purpose and love of life, because you actually are living with purpose, and you're happy with when you look in the mirror and with where you're at. So fitness changed my life. I said that multiple times, but without fitness, I don't know where I would be. And if you're stuck, start with fitness, because that can build so much momentum in your life and really catapult you into places that you have no idea. right? Fast forward to now, 4 years later, 3 years later, from 2 years later than Arizona, I'm Airbnb hopping with my little brother and then my best friend Nick and his little brother. So it's basically, we could just say we're four brothers, and we're just traveling, working remote, and making videos. And now I'm making videos. I want to inspire people. I still might make some skits, some entertaining stuff, but I want to help people and change their lives. So I'm a fitness coach now as well, where not just fitness coach though, mindset, and just helping people transform their lives from not liking it to liking it. So yeah, I wanted to come on here, share my story. I haven't posted in a while. I hope if you guys made it this far, I love you. That, it's been hard for me to talk about that for years, but now I've kind of gotten used to it, and now I'm just happy to be back, because I love helping people. I love making videos. I love being creative. Right? So I'm gonna post more long forms, and if you need help, feel free to reach out, because I know I can. If you're going through a tough time, even if you're not looking for coaching, DM me. I'd be happy to help you, man. Like or woman, I'd be happy to help and do what I can. So yeah, love you guys, and I'll be back with more videos soon.